Alrighty, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Hope you guys are doing well. Today is, what day is it today? July the 3rd. So, July the 3rd today, it is a Thursday. It's a half day today. So, markets are closed early at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Independence Day. We do have a market holiday tomorrow. So, the markets are closed. We'll talk about some of the red folder news events that we have coming into today as well. We do have so we have some non-farm enrollment that's going to be at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with unemployment, along with ISM at 10 a.m. Let me actually pull this up. So as for the red folder news events today, as you can see, what we have here, non-farm enrollment along with the unemployment rate, that is going to be at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then we also do have some more red folder news, ISM services, that's going to be at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So this is generally on Friday, but Friday's closed, so that's why it's today. So we have a bunch of red folder news events at 8:30. So we'll just wait for the market to develop for the first 30 minutes, at least 30 minutes now, and then we'll go over kind of our game plan once that red folder news hits at 8:30. As for some of the charts, we'll head on to the charts. Before we do that, what's up, everyone? Good morning. What's up, KO? Ricardo, B Roots, Smart Money, JT, Non-Tolly. What's up, everyone? Yeah, happy 4th. What's up, Damien? Joseph, Andreas, Robert, Martin, Josh, Daniel, Fan, Ryan, Paul, Carlos, G. Sally, I probably pronounced that wrong. What's up, Reggie, Miss Reggie, Juan, Darth, Cuba, Mr. Jones, and Audrey, RJ, Yoji, Teddy, Paul, good morning, Wallace, Monty, Flying, Cinna, Keith. Yeah, good morning, everyone. Hope you guys are doing well. Let's start off on the major indices. We'll go on to the ES and NQ. So for the ES, we're actually very close to all-time highs. So I would like to see this get hit. All-time highs here for the ES are 6287. So this is the level that we've been looking for the ES to gravitate towards, your all-time highs, as you can see right here, which is our 6287. So you can see we've had a very nice rally. We haven't had a single down close candle on the ES, whereas the NQ, we already hit one of our main objectives, which is our all-time high. So you can see a little bit of reaction on earlier into the week, which was right off our previous all-time highs level, which is our 22. If I remove levels, as you can see right here, are 22,868. So that's why NQ had a reaction, whereas ES not a reaction as of yet, just because we haven't hit our all-time highs level. Sorry. So in this case, what we're going to be looking for coming into today is the reaction that we have off of our 6287. If we go back onto the 15-minute time frame now, what we'd like to see here for the ES is really the hold of your previous pivot point. So this is your high that we created from yesterday in the pre-market. We also have multiple touches here as well. So as long as we maintain above our 6269, I like to see a push in towards your all-time highs on the ES contracts, which is going to be the 6287. There's a possibility that we gravitate there coming into pre-market. So that's going to be the key level today, along with your all-time highs, 6287. As for the SPY in this case, you can see we're fairly bullish. We're breaking above your previous high that we created on Tuesday and Monday. And now you can see yesterday we ended up breaking above your 619, basing above your 619 and just pushing towards the upside. So for the SPY, the key levels I'm going to have marked out now since we are at all-time highs. I'm just going to have to mark out our previous day highs, and now we have to use our Fibonacci's and intraday levels here as well. So key level for SPY is going to be the 619 along with our 620.50, and then we can now mark out your pre-market high, which is going to be your 621.41. So for the levels on SPY today, what I would like to see for continuation, hold of your 620.50. That's going to be key for continuation. Another possible scenario, kind of the base above your pre-market high, 621.41 for a continuation towards the upside as well. If we go into the NQ chart, key levels coming into today is going to be our 22,820. We also still have our 22,870. So for the NQ, what's happening here is that we end up forming this nice triple bottom. So this is the key level that we had yesterday, which is our 22,600. If we're looking at the ES, we mentioned that this one does have strength because it's building up higher lows, whereas NQ was coming back down for the support levels, which was at our 22,600. So this ended up bouncing off support in the pre-market yesterday. This is the exact level it had to hold, and we end up having buyers that stepped in right off our 22,600, pushing price back towards the upside. For NQ now, what we like to see is the reclaim back above our 22,870 for this potential push up and towards your this week's highs, which is your Monday's highs at your 22,940. So this is the level we're going to have marked out coming into today. If we go on to the 15-minute time frame for the NQ, what we like to see, as I mentioned, is the reclaim back above your, it's now going to be your previous day highs for this push back up and towards your pre-market highs and potentially your Monday's highs, your 22,934 with the ES pushing towards your all-time high. So key level today is going to be your previous day highs, your 22,870 on the NQ. For the QQQ, similar thesis. What I'd like to see now is the hold above your previous day highs. You can see we're holding it so far in the pre-market. Now what I like to see is it maintain above your 551 for this push up in towards, it's going to be your this week's highs, your 553. We actually have a few key levels. We have our 552. I'm actually just going to readjust this and mark it to your 552.79. So what I like to see today, as I mentioned, hold above your 551 for a push up in towards your 552.79 Monday's high. So that's what I have for the indices coming to today. We're just going to wait for the SPY to hit your all-time highs. It does seem like it's going to try and push towards your all-time highs here in the pre-market. We do have news, as I mentioned, at 8:30. So we'll just wait for that. So the levels are set here for the SPY and Qs, along with the ES and NQ as well. So let's talk about some of the tech names that we have coming into today. Today is a short day for people that didn't join earlier, and then tomorrow is a market holiday. So for Tesla, so Tesla had news yesterday. Right off the bat, we had delivery numbers that actually came in before market open. Nice kind of pop in the overall market, but immediately kind of sold off right back down in towards your previous day highs. And this is the exact level, right? Your previous day highs. End up using this as support later into the session for this continued pushback towards the upside. So for Tesla coming into today, what we like to see is really the reaction that we have off of your 306, which is the low of the range, along with our 320, which is essentially the area that we drop from. So for Tesla, the levels, we have 320, 306, equilibrium being our 313. For long positions, what we'd like to see now is either the hold of your 313 for this continued push back up and towards your 320, or what we like to see now is get above your 320 pre-market highs, along with a couple key levels from yesterday and before. So 320 is going to be key here for Tesla. As for downside, I'm not too interested in downside unless Tesla consolidated potentially later into the session, broke underneath this 313. So for Tesla, keep an eye on this 320 and this 313 key level. We can also mark out your previous day highs if we like as well, which is also very key. So we have multiple levels today on Tesla: 320, 316, and this 313. I'm not as interested. You can see a lot of Teslas just mean reversions just because there is no clear higher time frame objective. A lot of it's just big pops and then kind of reversals at key levels of support and resistance. So that's what we have for Tesla. Let's go into the semiconductors. Semiconductors, nice bounce yesterday after reclaiming above key levels. These are the main names that I was looking for, along with Apple. So for the semiconductors, the key levels that we have marked out was our previous all-time high. So if I remove a few things here, right, really for Tesla, really for Nvidia, the key level that we like to see reclaim and hold was our all-time highs on the daily time frame. So as you can see right here, this is our previous resistance, our 152. And this is the exact level that we wanted to see hold on the daily chart, right? It wicked underneath on the lower time frames, but on the daily time frame, we wanted to see a candle close above our 154, which is our previous all-time highs, hold for this continuation higher. This is essentially a break and retest on the daily chart. So if we go back onto the NVIDIA, the 1 hour time frame, key levels that we have marked out in this case, as I mentioned, is our 153, our previous all-time highs. This is the level that we wanted to see reclaim, and you can see right off the bat showing a bit of strength here on NVIDIA, reclaiming back above your previous all-time highs. And then once we are able to reclaim back above your 154, NVIDIA looked good for a continuation higher. 5-minute range, down close candle as well. Nice hold for this push back up in towards our 156 and above. As for NVIDIA now, the key levels I'm going to have marked out coming into today. The key levels I'm going to have marked out is going to be number 1. We can have marked out now. It's going to be the area that we broke down from. So we can draw this out, which is our 156. Multiple touches off this level, and then we can also have marked out your previous day highs. Above your previous day highs, we can see your all-time highs on NVIDIA, 158.50. So coming into today, what I'd like to see here on NVIDIA, one of two scenarios. Hold above your 156 for a higher low, continuation push back towards the upside, or now it's going to be the break above your previous day highs for a push back up and towards your 158.50. So that's what we have for NVIDIA. Overall today, I'm actually not interested, right? We're just kind of marking out these key levels that we have, but for the overall markets, we'll see what shapes up with red folder news at 8:30. We also do have red folder news at 10, so most likely going to be a little bit more selective today because it is a half day. So it is a half day. The markets are closed at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So usually these half days are quite tricky. It's a lot lower volume just because it is a half day. It closes at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right before a holiday. So generally speaking, there's not as much volatility. We are at all-time highs, so I do expect the markets to continue to have that kind of slow grind until we hit that ES all-time highs. As for a few other names, let's kind of go on to AMD. So AMD, nice reclaim above our 135. So yesterday, key levels that we have marked out, 135 on this ticker. I wasn't too interested in trading AMD. I liked NVIDIA a little bit better, but nice kind of reclaim above our previous day lows. Nice hold above our 135 and then a push right back up in towards that 139 here on the higher time frame. So AMD coming to today where you're going to have marked out previous day highs 139. We like to see it above your 139.50 for a push back up in towards your 142. If we just consolidate in this general area, break back underneath, it's going to come back in between its previous day's range 139 along with your 135. As for Microsoft, didn't really bounce here as much with the overall market yesterday. Key level we like to see reclaim is going to be this 491.50s. As for Apple, more continuation towards the upside above our previous day high. So for Apple, nice push up yesterday. Once again, key levels that we have marked out on this name was our previous day high. So we had our previous day highs along with our pre-market highs. So this was key yesterday for Apple. What we wanted to see was really the hold above our 210. Once we ended up reclaiming right off the bat, immediate retest. I actually missed this one yesterday. This would have been super solid right off your opening range on the 1 minute for this nice push up towards the highs. So for Apple, this one continuing to push towards the upside here. I would have liked to see it hit your 214 yesterday. That's the daily higher time frame key pivot level. We never quite got there on Apple, but higher time frame now, still very much bullish after we had news on Monday. So for Apple, you can see once we broke above this trend line, a lot of liquidity being built up. We had this gap fill here as well. Now you can see volume starting to pick in on Apple. As long as it maintains above key levels, you like to see it continue all the way towards your 214.50s. So for Apple coming into today, what I would like to see now is the hold above your 210, which as you can see right here is your Tuesday's highs. So your Tuesday's highs being used now as support for potential continuation back towards your previous day highs and above, which is going to be this 214. and sorry, your 213 along with your 214.50. So Apple, you can have marked out your 210. That's going to be key coming into today. As for Meta, a little bit of a pullback here, not too much to talk about after hitting your all-time highs. So a little bit of rejections off of your all-time highs, 740, which was expected. Now we like to see it all the way back down in towards the area that we broke out from, which is our 700 key psych. So for Meta, not too much to talk about on this one. Key levels is going to be this 706. As for Google in this case, bouncing off key levels nicely, 176 back towards the upside. Now what we like to see here on Google is the hold of our 178, preferably the break above our previous day highs for a continuation towards your 181. We can also be looking for the potential higher low off of your 178 for this continued pushback towards upside. As for Amazon consolidating here, it's still shaping up nicely. I've been talking about Amazon for a while now, but this is a 1 hour time frame setup. What I would like to see now is the hold above your 218. So hold above your 218 coming into next week. We do have your Prime Week. So what I like to see, hold of this 218 level, base above that level for this continued push back up and towards your 223 and above here on Amazon. As for AMD, I already went over this one. And then Netflix, I'd just like to see the hold of your 1280. And now I'd also like to see the reclaim if you want to show any sort of strength above your previous day high. So key level that we have is going to be your 1300 previous day highs here as well. So one of two scenarios, hold above your 1280, or now it's going to be the reclaim back above your previous day highs, 1300. All right. We do have red folder news, as I mentioned, in about 10 minutes here. Sorry, 13 minutes. So if you guys do have any tickers, you guys can drop them in the chat. I'll go over tickers for 13 minutes. And then once red folder news does hit, we'll develop our game plan and go a little bit more in depth and exactly what I'm looking for coming into today. What's up, everyone? Good morning. Do you play defensive on red folder news days? So red folder news is just an injection of volatility. So we have red folder news quite often, almost a couple times a week. The major red folder news events are going to be FOMC, CPI, PPI. So on FOMC days, you don't really want to trade before the big news event. So you're going to be on lighter sides or just going to wait. As for other names or other red folder news events, once we have that red folder news event, it's fairly normal. Or if we're already in a trend, usually you're just going to stay within the trend. So if you're positioned before the red folder news event, which is a little bit harder unless you're trading futures, if we have it at 8:30, then you can just maintain your positions. If you're waiting for after the red folder news event, it's going to be the same thing. Once the red folder news event occurs, then we have a more clear picture on what wants to happen. What's up, everyone? Bitcoin will go up or down. I'll check out Bitcoin in a minute. Nice long on Google yesterday because off previous day high. Thanks, bro. All possible because of you. Awesome to hear. It's awesome, family. IWM has been great PA for the past 2 days. Yeah, IWM, nice hold straight off our 217. So this is the level that we had in the pre-market yesterday. 217 hold previous, kind of retest, dug a little bit deeper into your Friday's retest of last week, as you can see. Perfect hold. And then once we're able to reclaim back above your 218, nice continued push back towards the upside. So for IWM now, key levels you're going to have marked out is going to be your Tuesday's high. You can see we're gapping up here as well. So IWM is breaking out here on the daily time frame. Right, so SPY hit all-time highs, Qs hit all-time highs. Now IWM is lagging behind just a little bit. So now you can see this one starting to push up nicely here as well. So for IWM, key levels that we can have marked out is going to be this wick, 223, along with our 226 towards the upside. So these are the key levels here coming into today on IWM. All right, let's go on to Bitcoin. So yeah, as for Bitcoin, this one's just going to continue higher, right? It looks fairly bullish. coming back up in towards your previous all-time highs from January. What we would like to see is a close on the higher time frame. So we haven't closed on the weekly time frame above our 109. So that's basically going to be key on Bitcoin. If we can have a weekly candle closure, not a daily candle closure above this level, we like to see continuation back towards the upside. So for IWM, key levels that we have in this case is just going to be similar, like 109, 380s. If we can have candle close, at least on the daily time frame and the weekly time frame as well, I'd like to see this now continue back up and towards your all-time highs, your 112.020. So going to the 1 hour time frame coming into today, our key levels that we can have marked out. If we were to refine our levels, now is just going to be this previous pivot point, as you can see, turn into support. So you can see resistance turning into support. What I would like to see is Bitcoin maintain above your 108,400 for this push up and towards your all-time highs, your 112,020. As for gold, this one, similar thing. It's holding above our key levels. This exact level I talked about yesterday, which is our 33.47. Now you can see we're reclaiming back above this level. What I would like to see is a hold and now continuation back up and towards your previous day highs and above. We do have this gap, which is all the way back from what we created earlier in the week. As for any sort of downside, if it consolidates, gets underneath, I'm not too interested in downside on gold, but if you can maintain, you like to see it fill this gap, our 33.67 here. All right, DDOG, someone mentioned that this is included in the S&P 500. So this one, inclusion in the S&P 500, you can see key levels that we have is this gap fill. So we have this gap fill that we're now pushing back towards the upside. Key levels that we have marked out 153 here as well. I'm actually surprised. Yeah, this one got into the S&P 500. They still haven't had Hood. Hood's almost at $100. So for this one, DDOG, you can see pushing towards the upside here. Key levels that are going to have marked out. I have them marked out already. Now, if you go back onto the lower time frames, you have your 148, you have your 144. What you like to see now coming into today is really the reaction that you have off your 148. You like to see break above your 148.90s for this continued push back up and towards your 153 here and above. As for Palantir, key levels that we have for Palantir coming into today is our 130 on the higher time frames. We also have our 136 here as well. For other levels we can have marked out, we can have marked out your previous day highs 133. So for Palantir, 133.50s, we have your 130.50, and you also have your 136. So reclaim above your 133.50 previous day highs for a potential move back up and towards your 136. As for HIMS, key levels that we have is your 46. This is the level that we broke down from, and we actually got back above once we're able to reclaim it. Now you can see we're coming right back down in towards the area that we broke out from. So key level 46 for a potential pushback up in towards the highs. Consolidate in this general area, get underneath. Another potential scenario for this continued push lower. As for Hood as well, we finally hit $100 actually yesterday. Key levels that we have marked out was our previous pivot point, which was our high from Tuesday. So we hit our major psych level. So that's basically the level that we're looking for on Hood, which is your key psych as well, right? Key psychological 100 number, triple digits, super solid push on Hood. You can see the daily time frame basically exploding once we got above our 64. So really solid push. If you're holding Hood, that's awesome. This one is just going to most likely just continue higher, similar to Palantir earlier this year. So for Hood, key levels, now I'm just going to mark out our 100 key psych level, previous day highs. We can also mark out now. It's just going to be, yeah, all I have marked out is just going to be your previous day highs. And then we can also mark out now it's going to be your Monday's high. Monday's high 94, and we can use this level and drag this one over. So key levels we have coming to today, 94.20s along with your previous day highs, 100 key psych level. It was a great trade, 100% for me. Nice Edison. Can you direct me to a video that helps you pick your calls? It's just one with the money, weeklies, or I choose the one with the most money, including the S&P 500. Let's see, bull. Is bull popping here in the pre-market? No, it's having a daily time frame breakout. So you can see bull starting to base now, and it's starting to break out after having its initial IPO spike. So for bull, you can now see volume starting to pick back in on this name after big pop up IPO, and now you can see big drop. So for bull, key levels that we're gonna have marked out today now is gonna be our previous day highs. We can also mark out the level that we actually just broke out from. So key levels that we have is really your 1420, which also coincides with your previous day high. So key levels, we can draw this out. So our 1420 coming into today, as long as you maintain above your 1420, what we like to see, hold above your 1420 previous day highs for this continued push back towards the upside. In this case, the key levels that I do have marked out is going to be really all the way back up and towards 1560 and 17 on bull. What's the indicator I'm using for the sessions? It's nothing. It's just default settings. Default settings on TradingView. If you trade stocks, there's pre-market and after hours. If you trade futures, they also actually include these sessions here as well. APLD. Don't forget Trump bills voted today. So yeah, for APLD, we're kind of have a news catalyst coming up. It's right at the bottom of the range. Key levels that I wanted to see hold was, if I actually remove this, readjust my levels just a little bit, is this daily candle close. So a daily down close candle, I can mark out the full daily candle close if I'd like, but you can see so far we're holding levels of support, which is the bottom of our daily order block. Now what we like to see is the close back above our daily order block, which in this case is our 1098. So our 1098 in the pre-market, and we also have our 1070. So you can actually mark out this. What we like to see on APLD is the hold and close above your 1070. So 1070, you just drag this level over. So far, the consolidation level that we do have is your 1070. And we also have the bottom of the order block, which is our 980. So you can see a lot of consolidation in the past week here on APLD. Now we like to see reclaim back above 1070 for this continued push back towards upside. How do you know what days will be high volatility? Just based off of the higher time frames, red folder news. If you have any catalysts, right? News is the main thing. If you have a news, then it's usually fairly volatile, especially something like Apple, right? Once we had news plus higher time frames, generally speaking, after a day one move, we're going to have continuation on day two and potentially even day three, right? We're going to start trending. You can also look at the VIX as well. Yeah, someone spam the chat. All right. So we have about 2 minutes until red folder news event here. So we'll just wait for the news that we do have. Let me actually pull this up. So yeah, we have about we have non-farm enrollment along with ISM coming up. Let me look at this chat. When trading in ranges, should I get next week's contracts? Usually today. So yeah, today it's a half day. So today's half day plus short week, because we have a holiday tomorrow. Usually days like this, very difficult to trade. Most likely you're going to be on much lighter size, or you're going to take next week's contracts. And next week's contracts, we'll see how volatile the market is now coming into 8:30 here as well. We are very close to our all-time highs level, which is the main level here for the ES. So most likely, if you are going to look for any trades today, you're either going to take half size on zeros or risk whatever you're willing to risk based off of this week's price action. And then, or you can take next week's contracts if you like. When trading in ranges, which one does carry most importance? I.e., does the previous day higher low break carry more weight than the opening range? So if we're in a range, generally speaking, we want to be trading the top and bottom of the ranges. So you want to be trading your previous day highs and your previous day lows, potential rejections. If you're trading the opening ranges and we're in a range, that usually means we're in the middle of the range, and you don't want to be putting too much emphasis, at least on the 1 and 5 minute opening range. You want to be putting more emphasis on the higher time frame opening range, which is going to be the 15-minute. I'm the biggest fan. Let's get paid today. And Traders Lab indicator. No, not as of yet to the public. We're going to talk about that in a bit. Can you direct me to a video how you pick? Yeah, I already answered that question. Do you not like trading small caps? I'll trade small caps. That's what I started off at. So small caps are volatile. Like I'll take a little bit of shares and just kind of hold, not put too much size, but I'll just kind of let it ride. Thank you so much for all your share. Random performance question. What time do you typically go to sleep at night? I try and sleep, at least get 8 hours. Like I have a sleep tracker. Lately, it's been all over the place, but generally speaking, I try and get 8 hours. Sleep is very important, especially if you can track your sleep. You'll see kind of the performance coming to market open. It's good to track those things as well, right? Tracking things outside the market. All right. Non-farm enrollment. Let's see if the market popped here. Yeah, popped here as expected with ES all-time highs now. So you can see non-farm enrollment came into the markets, forecasted 111, and then you have your actual forecasted, right, 147. You have your unemployment rate here as well, 4.3 forecasted, came in lower than expected, 4.1% on the unemployment rate. We also do have ISM that is going to be at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So at least for the overall markets, you can see now we're pushing towards your all-time highs. This is the key level that we're expecting the markets to gravitate towards for a while now, right? After SPY and Q hit all-time highs, the next logical level was the NQ, and now finally the the NQ and finally the ES now, which just hit your all-time highs, 6287. So if you go back onto lower time frames now, coming into today, we now got above your previous all-time highs since we are making new all-time highs here in the pre-market. What we like to see now for the ES coming into today really is now just going to be the hold above your previous all-time highs. If you're looking for any sort of trading opportunity, most likely it's going to be the hold above your previous all-time highs, 6287. Only scenario I'm looking for a short if it gets back underneath. Not as interested, but since now we hit all our major objectives on the indices and the futures, there could be a little bit of reaction maybe later into the session underneath your 6287. So that's going to be the key level coming into today. If we go on to the NQ, this one, yeah, reclaim. Now it's pushing higher here with red folder news back up and towards our this week's highs. Going to be a little bit of a trickier session now with this nice pop. And now we're starting to run towards the upside here. So for at least the NQ and the ES, we'll now keep an eye out on, right, your previous all-time highs for the ES. For the NQ, we're now about to hit your all-time highs here as well, 22,934. Levels I'm going to have marked out is going to be the level that we created here in the pre-market, which is our 22,900 for the NQ. So what I like to see, at least for the NQ wise, is now the hold of, it's going to be this 22,900 for this potential move back up and towards your all-time highs, 22,934. As for the Qs, similar thing, you can see already hit your all-time highs in the pre-market now. Key level is going to be your 551 for the SPY. Nice break above all-time highs hit on the ES. Key levels we're going to have marked out. Previous day highs along with our pre-market highs, 621.40s. All right, so yeah, coming into today, let's kind of scroll onto some of the charts that we're looking for now with SPY and Qs hitting your all-time highs. Levels we're going to have marked out. Tesla, your 317 along with their previous day highs, 320. NVIDIA is popping nicely here. Next levels is going to be your all-time highs. Let me actually just readjust this. For NVIDIA, key levels we're going to have marked out is going to be your all-time highs. Sorry, not your all-time highs. Your Mondays and Fridays highs here coming into this week. So for NVIDIA, what I would like to see is the break and hold above your 157.50s, previous day highs for push up and towards your this week's highs, which is your Monday's highs. As for a few other names, I do like Apple so far bouncing off your Tuesday's highs nicely. What I like to see is just more consolidation and then a push up and towards your 213 and 214.50s. And then the rest of the names are popping up here as well with the overall market. So similar to this whole week, we're just going to keep an eye out on NVIDIA along with Apple. Apple's still holding up. We still have targets towards your 214.50. Semiconductors are shaping up nicely here as well. So we're just going to be looking for continuation with the overall market. what we've been doing for the past really few months now is just been looking for major dips, right? Any dip has getting bought up. Don't look for any short positions, right? Don't try and time the market. Anyone that's been trying to short has had a rough time. You might have had a few good days in the past 2 months, but generally speaking, if you were looking to long major dips in the market, that would have worked out nicely, right? You don't have to kind of overcomplicate it. We're at all-time highs on the weekly time frame. We're at all-time highs on the daily chart. We're at all-time highs in general, right? You can see that on every time frame. So that's why every dip so far on the market has just been bought up, and we've been continuing back towards the upside. All right, let me go over a few more tickers here as well. If you guys, let me go look at the chat, and then I'll most likely get ready for market open. Today is a half day, as I mentioned earlier, along with a holiday tomorrow. So these half days generally lower volume, and with the markets already taking out my key level here in the pre-market, we'll see what just kind of shapes up within the first 15 to 30 minutes. I'm not expecting that much today just because we hit your all-time highs main objective. We could potentially just have this like low volume melt up just because we're at all-time highs. All the major indices are at all-time highs. It's a half day. No one's really expecting it. We can just kind of slowly grind up into close. That's more likely the scenario that's going to happen. So we'll keep an eye out on your previous all-time highs on the SPY, and we'll just keep an eye out on your pre-market highs. And then for the Qs, similar thing. It's going to be your all-time highs here, 552, and then we're also going to mark out our previous day highs here as well. Okay, let me go over a few more tickers. BBAI. This one, daily time frame breakout yesterday, or starting breakout. Key levels that we have is your 787, and above your 787 now is going to be, if you go back onto the daily chart, it's going to be all the way back up and towards your 850 and above. So we can mark out these levels. For BBAI, this one's moving nicely, basing above key levels. So as long as now we maintain above your 720, we like to see it above your 780. So 780 retest, or you're looking for your 720 bounce, which is your Mondays and Tuesdays highs. Yeah, Oracle did have some news yesterday. This one ended up popping earlier into the week, and now you can see nice bounce right off our 216. So perfect bounce off this 216, and now you can see continuation back towards the high. So Oracle, really solid break and retest, at least on the 1 hour chart. You can see base above, previous resistance turn into support, and now we're continuing back towards the upside. So nice key level here on Oracle is going to be your 228. 228 hold for this pushback towards the highs. Where's my mic keep dropping? Yeah, as for MSTR, this one daily time frame just kind of consolidating. I would like to see now MSTR start building up higher lows and continuing back towards the upside. So for MSTR, I guess I removed all the drawings in this case, but MSTR key levels that we're going to have marked out, if we go into the 1 hour time frame, is going to be your 390s. We can now also mark out your this week's highs here as well. So we can mark out your Monday's high, and we can also mark out your previous low that we created. So for MSTR, we like to see it above your 407.34 for a continuation back towards the upside. All right. How are the key levels marked out on every yeah, because I go through all of them. They're just readjusted. They're all just old highs, old lows. I go through the same tickers every day. What was the link to the website, Forex Factory? Yeah, Forex Factory, you could just search up economic calendar on Google and a bunch of websites will pop up. Why is it a half day? Yeah, half day today because it's a holiday tomorrow, right? Independence Day, half day. So they're basically just closing up shop early for the major holiday tomorrow and a long weekend. So yeah, SPY, a little bit of reaction off of your previous all-time highs now. So we'll see how this shapes up coming to market open. Or as I mentioned, key level we are going to have is your previous all-time high. So we would like to see this level hold if we want to see continuation. There's a good chance we end up potentially just rejecting off this level and just coming right back towards the lows, right? Just because anyone that is looking to sell or take profits, they're going to look to take profits above this high, which is your previous all-time highs. You can see not a single reaction so far on the daily time frame, and this is the area we could potentially see a reaction off of. Anyone that is looking to take profits or looking to sell some of their position is going to be above this high, which just hit here in the pre-market. So I'm not as interested in longs anymore, just because we already hit your main objective. We'll see what shapes up here on the lower time frames. Much rather long names that haven't hit your all-time highs now. So it'd be, let's say, Nvidia right above your 157.50s for a push up and towards your previous day highs, or any sort of name that still has more objectives besides the ES and NQ. All right. So yeah, that's most likely going to be it for me today. I'm going to call it a day here. As for my watches coming into today, we do have red folder news at 10 a.m. So most likely just going to wait for the first 15 to 30 minutes. My main watch is going to be Nvidia along with Apple as well. So I like these charts the best. A hold above your previous day highs for push up and towards your 158. As for Apple, I like to see it maintain above your Tuesday's highs, 210 for a push back up and towards your 213 and above, which is going to be your previous day highs and your 214.50. So that's really it for me today. I'm not expecting too much in the overall markets just because it is a half day. So if I do take any trades, it is going to be on lighter size. We'll see if anything shapes up within the first kind of 15 to 30 minutes. If not, most likely going to call it a session. It's going to close early. So this is definitely not the day you want to be trading, especially on full size or over trading, just because it's a half day. There's less volatility. The options contracts expire earlier. So theta is going to kick in a lot earlier. If you're playing zeros, generally speaking, they'll start kicking in after 11. In this case, the market closes at 1. So it'll start kicking in basically right off the bat. So I hope you guys have a great day and a great holiday tomorrow, which is going to be Independence Day for all the U.S. citizens. Most people are in the US. So yeah, happy, what do they call it? The happy Independence Day, or I think that's Canada, or I think it's the same thing for the US. But yeah, hope you guys have a great holiday, great rest of the weekend as well. If you guys haven't joined the watch list, that's free in the description below. And then I'll see you guys all next week. All right. Have a great rest of the day. Have a great long weekend as well. Take care, everyone.